right, now let me.
Can you send, you know what? Let me send, I don't think that I can. Oh, wait, I can invite. I'm going to invite Lavina.
Okay. Hi, Facebook. Give us just a couple seconds. We were having some beautiful technology stuff happening with us this morning. So give us just a couple of minutes to finish queuing up here, and we will be ready to start this amazing conversation.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. Looking forward to sharing some tips today and having some dialogue, checking in with everybody.
All right, so I am.
Are you sharing it to your page, Cece?
I think it automatically went to my page. I believe I just shared it as well to Chicago Realtist.
I don't see it yet.
Okay, that's it. I do see it, I believe, on Chicago Realtist. Hey guys, I see Ed. Am I in the Bahamas? Not yet. And I see Shannon and Letitia.
Hey,
good morning. Okay.
I still don't see it, but I'm sure I will soon. There we are.
See it? Wonderful. So happy Thursday. Hope everybody is doing well on this Thursday. I am going to manage the RWCI page. That way, if there are questions, comments, I will be able to see them there. And then do you have up the Chicago Realtist page?
I do.
Wonderful. I don't think I want to do that. So it's Realtist Week, and we are, it's Thursday of Realtist Week, and we've been having a lot of fun this week with the various topics that we've had an opportunity to discuss. So I'm going to have a woosah moment because I can't even remember what we did on Monday. Yes, I do. We did the fair housing.
Legend, the living legend.
The living legend, fair housing, a fair housing conversation. And that was a dynamic conversation. So let me just say, if you missed that conversation, then you definitely want to go back to the Chicago Realtist page on Monday evening. We started at 6-ish, about 6:30 or so. But I definitely want you to go and check out that conversation because it was an amazing conversation for us to have. We had Ronald Branch, we had Joyce Gibson, Diane Simmons, and Miss Lavina. And so we had an amazing conversation with our legends in the business, and they just shared so much insight and knowledge. Then on Tuesday, if you missed out, we had a great conversation about cash flow during COVID. And Ron Branch gave some amazing tips and insights into the world of BPOs. So if you've ever considered adding an additional stream of income for yourself through broker price opinions, then that conversation was hosted by Ron Branch, who has been in the business for 30 plus years, and that is his area of expertise, or at least one of them. Then yesterday we hosted a conversation called Suffering in Silence. And what we know is that amidst the crisis and the pandemic that we're seeing across the country, that are where we lay our head, where we pay our mortgages, there are a ton of conversations that are happening both right now and that will continue to happen as we migrate and transition into future months. And so yesterday we talked about not suffering in silence. And we opened up a conversation around forbearance, loan modifications, short sales, and foreclosure. So yesterday we were blessed to have Damon as well as Faisal on, who are two amazing attorneys in that space, and they talked us through that. So today I am super excited to be co-hosting with my president, Selena Jones, the RWCI portion of Realtist Week, the Realtist Women's Council of Illinois, who I actually had the pleasure of serving under her leadership for the last several years. I won't talk too much about that because then I get all warm and fuzzy.
It's the day, Madam President, no tears.
So I'm just excited, to be sharing the platform with Miss Sanina today as the current Realtist Women's Council of Illinois president, and having our immediate past president here with us, who's also the second vice president on the Dearborn Realtist board. And so today we want to talk to you about, hey, we care. We haven't seen you guys. We haven't done a coffee talk. We haven't had any meetings in person. So we wanted to kind of check in and see how you guys are doing. But in addition to that, of course, as boss business leaders that we are, we wanted to also bring some money-making tips, some income generating and business development type of generating ideas to the forefront. So I'm just gonna pop in. I'm gonna turn the mic over to Madam Sanina here, and then I'm gonna pop in and see who all is joining us this morning. And I really want to check in. I want to know how you guys are doing. So, Madam Sanina.
Madam President, if you can put the slides on presentation mode. So good morning, everyone. Madam Cecilia did an amazing job introducing us. I am Sanina Ellison Jones, immediate past president of the Realtors Women's Council and second VP for the Dearborn Realtors Board. Excited to bring you guys some tips in the COVID-19 environment. Just wanted to share some best practices. I know many people are experiencing business in a different way, and some may have had closings already, some may have not, some may be doing showings, some may not have done any as of yet, both on the real estate side as a real estate broker, and then on the lending side, I'm sure there are a number of ways that your businesses have been impacted. So today we just want to touch base. Typically we would be hosting a coffee talk where we share some best practices there, educating and empowering and elevating the standards of women in our industry. And so this is our opportunity to touch our membership, as well as those who are not currently members. You can join and participate with us. So with that, we'll go ahead and jump into our program for today.
So I am trying to find presentation mode. Please tell me where that is.
Okay. At the top where it says slideshow or the review or view.
Yep, I'm in the view and I see normal outline, notes page, reading view, slide master, handout master, maybe slide master.
What about slideshow?
So that was the mode that I was in. Yeah, that's not it. That was that mode.
Okay, at the bottom of your screen, On the right side, you see the boxes. So right now, the box that's grayed out, if you move 1, 2, 3 to the right, that'll put you in presentation mode.
1, 2, 3. That says reading view.
Okay. I don't see your screen moving either.
No?
It's not registering on our end. At the top, that same similar looking box next to the do-over arrow. So you see auto save, you see off, you see the save button, arrow, and then that should put you in presentation mode as well.
Yeah.
Did that work?
That's where it went.
Okay.
So the presentation mode is so that you can see the next slide, right?
They're too tiny on my end.
Oh, are they? Okay, hold on. So here's the power and the beauty of our organization. We just kind of come just raw as we are people, and we learn along the way. So Madam Elisha is actually texting me, and she's sharing. It's the 4th icon at the bottom, and it looks like a stem glass. Let me see. The 4th icon, it looks like a stem glass. That's the one that I'm doing. Oh, you know what? I wonder if maybe I need to make it larger. Is that better? Or you still can't see it?
On our end, it hasn't responded at all.
Yep, that's the one that I'm doing, Elisha. And it's just putting me like in this space.
Well, you know what? We're just gonna make it work.
Okay.
We're gonna do what it do. And you know what.
So are you looking at it online? Because I didn't have it in presentation mode before.
I am looking at it online. It looks the same.
Okay. All right. So maybe it just is not caught up as of yet. But we will roll. We'll roll with it. That's very interesting.
We're gonna keep it moving.
Okay.
You know?
Very good. All right. So who are we? I'm gonna let you do the pleasures because I just love the way that you bring everything full circle.
Is that what you love? Okay.
I do.
Well, as you may have experienced over the last several days this week, this is Realtist Week. We are the Dearborn Realtist Board, which is the local chapter for the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. Our mantra is democracy in housing. Under the leadership of our president, Courtney Jones, we have been working diligently to bring economic opportunities to our communities so we can continue to make money in housing. As the Realtors Women's Council of Illinois, we're an affiliate of the Dearborn Realtist Board, the local chapter for the Women's Council of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. And we are excited for Realtors Week 2020 this week. Where there's a Realtors, there's a way. We know that a lot of people are suffering in silence, whether they are real estate professionals, whether they are small business owners, homeowners, and the likes. And so we just want to bring some information to the community, information to the industry for those who may need a little bit more direction or some assistance or just some information. This is our way of bringing some insights into that.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. So our first question to our Facebook audience, and we're going to just chime in a little bit here as well and share. We want to know how you're doing. So can you guys tell us in the chat room, how are you doing? We have all kind of gotten a little bit comfy now being indoors and facilitating business and working in this environment. But we really do want to know, how are you doing? Can you let us know on Facebook in our chat room how you're doing? And I am going to ask Miss Nina, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing good today. For me, it's been challenging. It's an environment that I've been completely unfamiliar with, as most of us have. And so it's day by day for me. Today is a great day. After this, I have showings lined up. So I think I've found my normal in this. I had to figure out a routine managing home and work and balancing that, and all of what that entails. So Madam Cecilia, Madam President, are mom, and your math teacher, and and I've been baking cakes and cleaning windows and all kinds of stuff. So, just trying to balance it all out. But yeah, today is a really good day. This has been a really good week. I think I found my normal C that I've needed.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'm having a good day today too. I think what I had to learn the first few weeks, I was pretty consumed in the news, and I had to just kind of figure out how to unplug. And that was a gradual process, right? So, I mean, I think I went from being consumed with 45 and what he was going to say, and then over to, the New York governor and what was going on there, to, Pritzker and Lightfoot here. And so what I have personally had to do was just unplug from anything that I realized was bringing a negative energy into my space. So I have gotten back into my daily routines, which now is incorporating really being mortgage mom. So I have even had to have some transitions inside of that, in terms of showing Omari how to use Zoom and reach out to his own teachers for math and for Spanish, and just really checking in with him to kind of figure out how he's doing emotionally. But today is a good day, but it's definitely been a process. It's definitely been a process. So I want us to go ahead and looks like we got a few people in the chat room. I see Tiffany, and I see Janice and Shannon, Leonard, Letitia, Alicia. So good morning, y'all. Madam Gwen Newton is in here. So good morning. How are y'all doing? And we are going to jump right into our presentation. So inside of how we're doing, I think that one of the things that I've realized also is that, oh, you know what? It says my screen sharing is paused.
Ah. We do it.
Now, let's see. What does that mean? So much fun. So much fun. I don't know why my screen sharing is paused. Oh. So do you see it now? Nope.
Nothing has changed on my end.
Okay.
But we're going to keep it moving,
We are. That we are. Okay.
Ah, I see it now.
Perfect. I'm like, I don't know. I think there were two up. So what are you doing now? What are you doing right now to keep business going? We are all kind of used to being around people, and whether it's talking to people or going and meeting with people, we are used to being with people. So what are you doing right now to keep your business going, such that when we can get back outside with people again, the way that we're used to, it won't be like, such a shock to our systems. And I know, so as as real estate brokers, you all are still facilitating business, just in a very different capacity. But one of the things for me that has helped inside of this space of being at home is just checking in with my past clients, really, taking a few a day to see how they're doing, whether it's via a text, an email, a phone call. Checking in with my clients that are pre-approved to find out if they have any additional questions, to make sure that their pre-approval from a lending perspective has not shifted at all. And if it has shifted, kind of sharing with them what we need to do in order to get them back, in position. Checking in with referral partners and business partners, writing some thank you cards, birthday cards. So I saw this online a few weeks ago, and it said 5 calls, 5 texts, 5 handwritten notes a day. And that kind of gives you a good balance. It's not overwhelming, right? But it also does allow for you to stay in touch with people and to, you know, even reach out to folks that you may not have been in touch with otherwise. So those are just a few things that can just maybe kind of jumpstart you as it relates to getting back in tune with business. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Madam Sanina, so that we could speak directly to our realtors and our brokers as it relates to best practices in the industry.
Awesome, awesome. So some of the things that I wanted to share were specific to listing brokers, specific to buyer agents, and then just tips for brokers in general. So as a listing broker, I think it's important I'll just give you guys 3 takeaways that I think are at the top of my list right now in this current environment. And one is to take the initiative, introducing concepts to your sellers that they may not have otherwise considered. So I know with vacant properties, particularly those that are rehab, one of the best ways to showcase those listings is to stage those listings. But one of the things that I am considering in this current environment is virtual staging. I typically am a huge proponent of physical staging. I actually do it myself for my clients, my seller clients. But to minimize human interaction, to minimize what that could look like over time, I'm introducing virtual staging. So there's a number of companies that do that. I know one of the companies that I use for photos, which is Vishome, Vishome. They offer a 3D tour of the property. So they'll print out or they'll create the property's floor plan. So if you have a listing that has a unique floor plan, that's a very, very helpful tool to use. In addition, you can add virtual staging to your listing, and it'll place the furniture in the property. A lot of buyers prefer that the furniture is physically there when they go to see the property, but for the purpose of 3D tours, it actually works perfectly. And that segues right into my next point for listing brokers, which is making sure that your properties offer 3D virtual tours. I think that's not even an option anymore in this current environment. You will be able to send that information right over to, or that link right over to prospective buyers or agents with prospective buyers. And at the touch of a button, you can generate huge amounts of interest in your listing with little effort. So I think that's an invaluable tool and resource to offer to your seller clients. And then security. One of the things that I experienced in this current environment as a listing broker is one of our listings was broken into. So no longer gone are the days where you can just slap a lockbox on a property from Home Depot. I think now we have to take the extra precautions. I've always been a fan of the central lockbox. Haven't always utilized that tool that our real estate trade association offers us, but moving forward will ensure that that is something that I have on every one of my listings. So all of these will be standard practices moving forward. It's unfortunate that predators prey on the weak, but they do, and if they see an opportunity to take it, they will. So it's important that we practice responsibility of care. And care requires that we take additional precautions. So you want to make sure that you're protecting your client's assets. And then lastly, as it pertains to security, would be the alarm system. And so I partnered with one of our colleagues who was able to provide an alarm system for one of my listing clients. And so moving forward, that's a suggestion that I would recommend all of the listings have. Use your real estate partners and refer them to your clients. Make sure that your clients are getting all the best services and all of their needs met. And the alarm system will act as a deterrent in case anyone does bypass the lockbox. If you didn't have a central lock, they will be deterred. when they actually do get into the property. What I like about the central lock is it tracks who accessed the lockbox, and it's almost, unbreakable. So, and then lastly, just go the extra step. Typically for the home inspection on the listing side of the transaction, I'm not present. Usually the buyer's agent is present. I had an instance where the buyer's agent was recently recovering from COVID-19. And so I was there. I asked him actually to stay home, and I would be happy to attend your home inspection. So just going the extra mile for your clients, I think in this current environment is very important. Anything?
Wonderful.
Should I
go ahead
on that?
Say that again.
No, I was saying any questions on that, I'll pause right there.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I think that just the best practices that you're sharing, from a listing perspective, from a buying perspective, both of those, all of that is great information. We had a couple slides here, and I think the cloud ate them. The cloud has just been having a lot too much fun with you and I this morning.
We got to make the best of it and keep it moving.
Absolutely. So we want to jump in next to generating business, right? Because what we know is that at some point, we will be back out there, and business what I feel like is that there's a lot of pent-up energy, right? So there are a lot of questions, there are some concerns, but one of the conversations that I'm in right now for myself is how can we continue to generate business in this environment? And for me, one of the things that I am encouraging, not only from the Realtist Women's Council of Illinois, but also even with referral sources and referral partners, is virtual homebuyer workshops. The reality is that we are all at home for the most part right now, right? And so to be able to educate clients in this environment and share with them what's happening in the market, what credit score requirements are, if various aspects of the process have changed, what does it look like to actually go out and tour homes right now? What does the closing process look like? So being able to do home buyer workshops is one way to generate, business and potentially attract individuals that may not even be in your database right now, right? So that is something that I am ramping myself up for, and I know that there are also, board members who are going to be helping to lead that charge. Any thoughts around that?
No, I just think one other thing that I would add, now is a good time also to organize your database. I think the virtual home buyer workshop is excellent. We'll be continuing our Money Mondays starting at the end of this month in April. But one of the things that I was reaching out to a lot of the agents on our team was to organize your database. Right now is a great time to systematically reach out to your database. And the first way to do that is first you got to organize who you have in your database. Some agents, newer agents may not have as many contacts as some of the older agents, but nevertheless, life happens to us all. We've all, gotten busy in the past, and that may have been something that we hadn't had the time to do. Well, life has just happened to us all. And so there may be some pockets of time, windows of time that we can create right now intentionally to specifically target individuals in our database. I know you mentioned prior in the call that you were reaching out to past clients. And I think as real estate brokers, that's a really missed opportunity. That's a hugely missed opportunity if you don't have a systematic and strategic way to do that. And so we have a newsletter that goes out to all past clients. They get an email on their anniversary date and all occasions. But what better time than now to actually physically pick up the phone and actually call them? Did you remember to send that closing gift? Did you remember to check in and see how the move went, or how the dog loves the backyard, or how the hubby likes the man cave, or is that walk-in closet, as big as it is it big enough for all of those shoes? Having those conversations where, the call lasts a little longer or the laugh lingers a little bit because people are anticipating and appreciating that personal touch. So I think that's another way to then generate business, but also just being authentic and empathetic and just trying to touch people.
And, to that point, so one of the things that, there's been a huge conversation about around refinancing. And so inside of reaching out to my past clients, I am, explaining to them when it makes sense and when it doesn't make sense to refi, and, explaining to them what's happening in the market from an interest rate perspective. But one of the things that I'm always disheartened or kind of like beat myself up about, if I'm just real about it, is, when I send the email, I send the text, and then I pick up the phone to call the client and that number is disconnected. Or I go and I, Google the address because I'm like, well, why did the mail get returned? And I see that client actually sold. And I'm like, and so, as I've been going through my database, I have to have a personal moment sometimes as I am looking at the missed opportunities and the missed opportunities just for the relationship. A couple people that I've actually received return mail from, or the number is different now. I was like, they were such a great client. Like, how did I not stay in touch with them? And how about this? One of the clients was only like 2 or 3 years ago. It wasn't like it was like 7 years back, right? So now I'm actually in a space in my head of like, okay, so did that place not work out, or did they buy something bigger? Did they move out of state? Did they transfer jobs? Right. So all of these questions began to come to surface, which actually made me dig into, that specific part of my database even more so, because it's just not a good feeling. It's just not a good feeling.
Really good point, Madam President. There's no worse feeling than to find out that a past client of yours bought or sold with someone else.
Yeah.
And I recently got a referral from a past client. Her sister actually reached out to me. The sister remembered me and she called me only to share with, well, not only to share with me, but to additionally share with me that in addition to her wanting to get pre-approved for a mortgage, that the sister who I actually helped purchase the home had recently sold the home. And, I was just blown away by the missed opportunity there that I missed. I failed to follow up with her, and for no other reason than I wasn't top of mind, she used someone else. And so I think that's a great learnings for real estate brokers that, real estate is relationship based. It shouldn't just be transactional. I know there's a ton of successful brokers that do a lot of business, but there has to be a means to actually go back and touch those individuals, because those are opportunities to continue to build your business through relationships and referrals, because your past clients become your advocates and they'll be the ones that refer business to you. So luckily her sister still thought enough of me to call me. And so I have to follow back up with her as well. But, I that's of no fault of anyone's but my own.
Absolutely. I'm sure we all have, just those aha moments in business that really do kind of, for a lack of better words, kick us in the butt, so to speak. And it's like, okay, let's figure this out.
Absolutely.
So we're going to go through some other high-level tools, that no matter where you find yourself in this business, they're all things that, we can begin to incorporate as it relates to someone is trying to enter our room, and I don't know who iPhone is, so usually I know the name if someone's trying to enter, so we're just going to keep it with us. But regardless to your industry position, there are typically, things that we can be doing to increase our business, to enhance our business. And so this might be an opportunity for, individuals to look at the social media platforms that they're on or that they're not on, and use this as a time to really build out, what is your brand? What is your message? What do you want people to think of you as? Or who do you want people to think of you as? I know for myself personally, my two favorite tools are Hootsuite and Ripple. I have attempted Canva a couple few times, but I am not real good with Canva. So I stick to Hootsuite and Ripple. Hootsuite allows me to link my LinkedIn, my Facebook, and my Instagram accounts. And so when you see me online, typically I've already posted, I've scheduled my postings to go out for a specific period of time. And then Ripple is one that I'm a little bit more interactive with on a, semi day-to-day basis. But Hootsuite is one of those things where I can just set it and forget it. And for anyone who is in business and who likes processes and systems the way that I do, it has become, a very great tool. And I have the free platform for Hootsuite. And with that one, I literally, probably post out 2 weeks at a time. And then it goes out to the various pages that I'm on. But this is a great time to kind of figure out what your marketing calendar looks like. What is the message and the branding that you're actually putting out there on social media? What questions are there that need to be answered from individuals, and how can you use social media to build out, your online presence? Anything you want to share there?
I think those tools are great, Madam President. I agree with those sentiments as well. And I think in addition to posting and creating your content, it's a great time to interact. Often, it's easy to post and then people will like or comment on your page, but make sure that you respond to those comments. Make sure that you're connecting with those people that are commenting on your posts. I think that's a great opportunity as well to further to connect with people and deepen relationships.
Wonderful. Write an ebook. I know it has sounded like a daunting task, but I mean, let's just be honest right now. We have a little bit of time on our hands, just a little bit. And so, as you're thinking about an ebook, begin to think about what topics you are really proficient at, right? What are 5 things that if I was a buyer, if I was a seller, if I was a credit challenge person, if I was thinking about becoming an investor, if I was thinking about looking into multi-unit, like there are so many different ways to explore creating an ebook. And I have found that for me, one of the easiest ways, and I am, sharing things that I am actually participating in myself, but I use Google Doc right on my phone. So I'm sitting, on the couch, or I'm sitting in the bed at night, and I already have topics that I've written out, and I go to my Google Doc and I hit the microphone and I start talking right into the document, and I edit as I go. So there are just so many different ways that we can utilize our time to begin to really pull together the information and the tools that folks are asking us for every day. I promise you, if you just took the conversations that you have on a daily basis and wrote down one question, 2 questions from the individuals that reach out to you, you have a whole book within a week. Because there are just so many questions to this process that we've mastered in certain areas that other people are really looking for us to assist them with. So write an ebook. That's something else that you can do to while we're in this space, to attract clients and to share your expertise around. Anything you want to add to that, Madam Sanina?
I'll just add a little color to that. It was when I was sick earlier last year, before getting sick was like a pandemic, but I was sick for 4 days. And it was at that time that I wrote an ebook. I was so bored that I went on YouTube and I figured out how to write an ebook. I actually used Canva to create it. So I created a book. My specialty is multifamily properties, and I created a book on the 5 steps to purchase a multifamily property. And so it's a lot easier than it sounds. And so I just would encourage anyone who has the capacity to do that, to do it. Right now, it's the best time than any to get started, and just don't get in your own way. Identify what you're proficient at, and go for it.
I'm going to let you jump on this next slide, which is starting a podcast.
Oh my goodness. So I guess I'm just like a serial minded person. So I get bored and I just like create stuff. So I'm not a person who's just going to sit there and watch TV. It just doesn't interest me long enough. And so I started a podcast, Chasing Her Bag, Big, Hairy, Audacious Goals. Being president of the Realtist Women's Council of Illinois was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life in my career, as it pertains to my career. And it gave me the opportunity to connect with women in a way that I didn't know I would like as much as I did. Able to empower them and inspire them to reach their goals. And so it inspired me to continue in that same vein. That is a persona and a voice that I enjoy having. And so Chasing Her Bag allows us to journey down the not so well told versions of an entrepreneur's success stories. And as we all know, success isn't just a one and done. Success is a combination or a culmination of trial and error and failures that actually eventually equate to success. Now you've learned what not to do, what to do better, and what to repeat, and what not to repeat. And so I started using an app called Anchor. It was really easy. You can do it right from your phone. It is not the best tool for a podcast, but it's extremely easy for a new podcaster, if that's even a thing. But it's super easy. But Buzzsprout is actually just as easy as well to upload content. So there's a number of them. I'm not here plugging one versus another. Check them out, but it's not as difficult as it sounds. We all have a voice. I think it's important right now not to disappear. This is an opportunity to get in front of your audience in an authentic way and connect with those who authentically connect with you. When we talk about real estate being relationship based, it's a great way to build relationships authentically. Who people want to work with, people who are most like themselves. That's just the psychology of how people are attracted to one another. And so this is a great way to attract those that are most like you, those that think or, interested in the topics that you're sharing. And we don't mean like you, it doesn't have to be the same race. It doesn't have to be the same sex, but what you're sharing, the content, how you think, they're attracted to that, your style, how you communicate, all of that translates in a way to where you're being heard in a specific way by your audience, and that individual is going to be attracted to you for that reason. So
I am super excited about Big, Hairy, Audacious Goals. I cannot tell you how excited I am.
Awesome. I can't wait to have you on as one of my guests, so I can certainly, so you can share your journey as president currently and some of the experiences, the challenges, and successes that you have had. So I look forward to that conversation as you continue your journey through presidency.
I thank you. You laid a great foundation for that. And so it has been my pleasure to serve and to share. And I mean, we just have so many amazing women, and you are absolutely correct. I share that sentiment in terms of just, the Realtist Women's Council of Illinois, even just when I look at our board. So I am highlighting Madam Tiffany Taylor in this next slide, and she does sit on our board for the Realtist Women's Council of Illinois. But we have so many amazing leaders and women who contribute to our overall success and success. I look at them as sisters. I mean, this really is a sisterhood, and we've shared a lot already in just the transition in the first few months of the year. And now we are figuring it out again together, in a new environment. And so it's always great, just as you said, to have like-minded individuals around you that can help to fill in the gaps, right? There are some things that I am very strong at, and then there are a lot of things that, I allow other amazing women to contribute to me. So I'm just grateful to be able to be in the space to share and to stand alongside, all of those that are contributing. And so as we're talking about, just different things that we can do to continue to ensure that as women, as leaders, as realtists in the industry, one of the things that I've noticed is now that we're at home, I mean, there's just a ton of stuff that you can do to improve your own skill set, right? So, there are certification classes that are taking place every day. The National Association of Real Estate Brokers has been hosting, I mean, their calendar this week has been fantastic, and I've not been able to sit in on all the sessions that they've had. However, there have been many classes this week that have just expanded my insight, expanded the conversations that I'm already in. And then there are certification classes that, are not necessarily even industry driven. I would also say, hey, take the time to read the book that you've been wanting to read, that you haven't had, just the ability to stop and pause and read. And then jump on some virtual classes. So the one that you see on your screen right now, Madam Tiffany Taylor actually shared that she's been assisting individuals with the actual applications. I hope that she does not mind me sharing that information because I did not ask her permission to do that in advance. But she's having a class on Friday evening at 6:30. So go over to her page, take a look, and get registered for the class as it relates to being a small business owner during this time. You were about to jump in and say something there.
No. I wanted to Tiffany Taylor is amazing. And she also has been our host for the success calls, right? On the last Monday of the month. Did you want to talk about that? No, that wasn't Tiffany. It was Crystal Blanton.
Yes.
Okay.
Blanton has been hosting our Women of Excellence success calls, and so this year
we can't hear you as much, Madam Cecilia.
Really? Okay, let me see. Let me see. Can you hear me now?
You're back.
Okay. So one of the initiatives that we started this year was the Women of Excellence Success Call. And on that call, we are intentionally setting out to bring amazing women who are in leadership positions around the country. We started with, our very own leaders here in Chicago, but we're having some intimate, amazing conversations around business, around personal life. But it is a very intimate space where we get to share and be shared with. And so that call does happen the first Monday at 7 o'clock, the first Monday of every month. So, jump on. It is on our Eventbrite page. So if you register, you will get all of the pertinent information for that. But that has definitely been an amazing conversation. So last month we talked about chartering uncharted territory. The month before that, we talked about small business credit and how to establish small business credit. We've just had some amazing conversations, and they will continue to happen. And thank you, Crystal Blanton, for your leadership around that, for taking that on and making sure that those stay organized. But this is definitely another class. So I would, just encourage to, just as I think that one of the things you just said, Sanina, was, interact with people on social media. Don't just go on to posts. And so I do go on actively looking for, okay, what are things I'm interested in that I might not have otherwise known about? And, what can I register for as it relates to continuing my own growth? And Tiffany also just put the Eventbrite link in the chat room. So please feel free to get registered for that.
We have such amazing leadership within the Realtist Women's Council. I don't get to work with these ladies as closely as I used to, not being president anymore. But Tiffany did just post the link for the assistance that she's providing to small business owners. But just to go back to the call for a second, I was absolutely blown away when I joined the call and I noticed that it wasn't our president who was the host. I was like, whose voice is this that I'm hearing? And that's what made me think of Crystal. On the last call, what really stood out to me, we had a guest speaker, and I don't know if you're talking about who the guests are, so I won't be the one to reveal that. You can do that. But the speaker talked about therapy and mental health. And I just think that right now we're in a time, in a season where, for a moment, I was struggling, trying to find, like I said earlier, my norm. There's death all around us. Every time we turn on the news, it's nothing but negative news. People that I know were getting COVID-19. People that I know were dying, people that I know were in the hospital. It was just I had nightmares. I mean, it was just a really tough time, and so she talked about, Black girls in therapy and just the Black community and how that is often not readily available to us or even kind of frowned upon, but it's important to have someone to talk to for mental health. One of the things that I love about what my pastor, Chris Harris, does is he created the Resilience Network, the Urban Resilience Network, the Term Center, where you can go to get counseling, because this has been traumatic for many people, and someone needs someone to talk to. I know that I know everyone isn't just dealing with this and is rolling off of their shoulders. Someone needs someone to reach out to. So that can certainly be an outlet for just keeping yourself sane. Our church's website is brightstarchurchchicago.com. If you type in /BSCO, you can access information about counseling if that was something that you needed. I just wanted to share that because I just think, and I'll put that in the comments as well, but I think that mental health in our community is terribly important. A couple years back when I was in school, not to go off on a tangent, but I did a research paper on mental health, and it really illuminated the fact that I want to say it was 6 out of 10 people are suffering from some type of mental health issues. And mental health can be something, as simple as depression. You may not think of that as a mental health issue, but if you suffer from that for a prolonged period of time, it has huge effects on you. So not to go off too far into that, but I definitely suggest that it not be something that's shunned, not be something that's frowned upon. I think we all need it. We need it for positive and healthy relationships. We need it for positive and healthy individuals to exist.
I echo your sentiment there. And one of the resources that we were given in that call was it Black Girl Therapy?
Yep.
And I went and I looked and I believe that young lady has a podcast. And so I have actually been listening to some of the sessions in the podcast because I do think that we all need healthy outlets to be able to just have safe conversations in. So I thank you for bringing that back. And our success calls are actually on our website. So if you go to RWCIchicago.com, and you go to the Women of Excellence Success Call tab, the recordings are there, and you can go back and listen to any of the recordings that we've had, and they are set up there by topic and by the month that we had them and the conversation that was had. So thank you for sharing that. A couple of other tips before we go on our way. We've been having so much fun here. But a couple of other things that you can begin to think about, during this time is your company really set up for success? And so, some of the things to ask: do you have an LLC that's in good standing, or whatever your corporate structure is it in good standing? Do you have business credit? I just shared with you that one of our Women of Excellence success calls was on how to establish business credit. And I want to say it was in 90 days. So do you have business credit? When was the last time that you reviewed your business plan? I am pretty sure some of the things that are on your business plan that you drafted for January 2020 may not be as relevant given our current circumstances. So do you need to go back and take a look at your business plan and make revisions to some of the things that might not be relevant today? And then do you have systems? I do believe that one of the most important pieces of business and staying in business is having systems. I notice that when I am having the most success in business, it is because my systems are in place and they're running well. And when I'm not doing so good, it's probably because there's a system that I have completely just tossed aside somehow, haven't updated, or it may not be relevant anymore. So, those are just a few things that I think that while we're, in the house, we have a little bit of time, we can continue to, brush up on and take a look at. You want to add anything there?
I think systems and processes, having that in place creates efficiency, and it saves us time, right? And so I think in this current environment where time is probably the most valuable commodity that we actually have currently, it's even probably more valuable than the currency that we've been using, because we haven't had the luxury really to go out and spend it. I think time is most valuable. And so utilizing your time to create efficient processes or identifying systems that work and tools that work, this is a great time to do that. But also using this time to take some old school approaches to just going back to picking up the phone. We're not too busy in this current environment where we need everything to be automated. Automation is amazing, especially when you are busy and you do have a huge book of business. It allows you to duplicate your own efforts. But I do think it's important for those handwritten notes. I do think it's important to pick up the phone. It's important to touch people. I've been sending gifts via Amazon, little baskets, little care packages. It's just important to stay present and to be human. I think that human touch is much needed.
Agreed.
Madam Cecilia, before we wrap up, I did want to go back to something.
Yep.
So I provided the tips to listing brokers. I wanted to touch on the buyer's brokers as well, and then just some overall tips before we wrapped up. I didn't want to be biased on the side of the transaction. So a couple tips for showing property as it pertains to the buyer's agent. One of the things that I think is really important now is to send whatever your new precautionary instructions are in advance, letting your clients know that you're requiring them, if you are requiring them, to wear a mask and to have gloves, even providing them if you can, letting them know that you are practicing social distancing. I think it's important to set proper expectations so that way it doesn't get weird or awkward, and it doesn't feel rude. We're in a very social industry. We're used to approaching each other with a hug or a handshake. We're used to getting deals done, with a handshake over a drink. And so that environment has changed. And so it can feel rather cold. So I think just setting the proper expectation is hugely important. One other thing I suggest as it pertains to being a buyer's agent is sending the listing sheet that we typically may print out and hand to our client, making sure that you've sent that in advance via email, or you can even text it to them. Review that with your clients over the phone. That helps to eliminate a lot of the face-to-face conversation that needs to be had at the property. One of the things that I do to set expectations with my clients is let them know, I'm going to go to the property. I will unlock the door, open it up. We're going to do the walkthrough. If you have any questions, we can talk about that on that in the car on our way to the next property. And so it can feel really cold. It can feel really distant, but it's for the safety of themselves as well as myself. And so lastly, to wrap up as it pertains to tips in this current environment, I would say now is a really good time to go lean, right? So many of us are accustomed to eating out, twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, depending on how long your day is, grabbing a drink after work, attending work meetings, attending 2 or 3 events a week that also cost money. So now that we're not spending money in the same manner that we used to, I think it's important that instead of redirecting those dollars and just spending it online and buying up other things, that we start to save. I know there's a number of industries, a number of small businesses that wish they had saved more now, and they realize the importance of that. And so for those who are still actively in business, I would just, warn you against being frivolous in this current environment. It's important to save. It's important to go lean. We don't know what the future holds. We don't know what to expect. And so it's important right now that you protect and preserve. I think now is also a good time to give. So we have many people who are on the front line. They're caring for our communities. They're caring for the people who work at our kids' schools. They're caring for our churches and our grocery stores. And so when these people get sick and they go to the hospital, it's important to take care of those people who are on the front lines for us. So one of the things that one of my partners, Ed Beavers from Country Financial, and I are doing is buying lunch. We're going to adopt a floor at a hospital at the University of Chicago. We're going to adopt a floor. So what my husband and I might have spent on a fancy steak dinner for 2, we can now feed 9 or 10 deserving individuals. So right now is a really good time where you can redirect some of those funds that we might have spent frivolously and put those funds to good use. So saving and giving. And then I know Madam Cecilia mentioned this. I just wanted to touch on a little bit further. Keeping your routine and structuring your day. Your future self will thank you for not allowing yourself to fall into a rut. So when the world opens back up, if you're just now getting back into your routine, you're going to be behind the 8 ball. And I think it's okay to forgive yourself. If you're used to getting up at 6, maybe now you'll get up at 7, or maybe now you'll sleep a little later on some days. You'll have a late day and a late evening and an early day and an early evening. Maybe some days your day ends at 3, so you can help the kids with homework and take the kids for a bike ride. But just keeping your structure and your routine in place. As a business owner, that is monumentally important for your business. So that way you stay in the routine and the mindset of what it takes to be successful, not forgetting all of the practices that and the disciplines that it takes to run a business. As an independent contractor and as a business owner, those things are not just innately in us all the time. Sometimes it takes work and it takes practice. And once you've created a routine, as with anything, that muscle memory, you want to keep that in place. And then lastly, be the professional. Be the calm in the storm, be the peace, and be beauty in chaos. People appreciate and they'll remember that. What I loved about Mayor Lightfoot was her witty approach to this pandemic, telling us all to stay home. I think the approach that she took was brilliant. It showed great leadership, but it was humorous, and it was a humorous way to approach a very serious subject. But it was effective. So I think being professional, being calm, being the peace, that simply means not falling into or buying into a lot of the things that we're seeing on social media, a lot of the negativity, a lot of the political talk, a lot of the just things that can get us sidetracked away from being the professional in our industry. So I think it's extremely, extremely important that we kind of stay that steady pace. If we don't have, like your mom used to say, if you don't have anything good to say, then don't say nothing at all, right? And I posted her video when she first put it out. And let me tell you, I got like 100,000 likes and over 9,000 shares. So I should probably hire her to do my social media content.
Wow.
Yeah, because apparently a lot of people like to see our leadership not being so serious, but still getting the point across. It was extremely, extremely effective. And so I think that can transition right into our own businesses. You know, you can use humor if you're funny. If you're humorous, be humorous. You know, if that's not your thing, you know, then maybe not so much. But there's a lot of uncertainty, you know, about what the future holds. The best thing that we can do right now is to live in the moment, be present, you know, with those around us. If you're alone, you know, find ways to connect with those that are important to you on a regular basis. You know, because when things get back to normal, we'll all relish these moments and we'll all wish we had these moments. So it's important that we take advantage of them while we have them.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing those tips. We definitely appreciate it. The only other call to action that I have is I don't want anyone to suffer in silence alone. And I mean that from the very bottom of my heart. If there is anything, if it's a conversation that I can have with you, the Realtist Women's Council of Illinois really is here as an extension of the Dearborn Realtist Board. And I guess I kind of internally joke and tease that maybe we're the softer side. Or maybe I'm the softer side. But we really do want you to reach out. Please reach out. If there, you know, please visit RWCIChicago.com. All of our contact information is listed there. If you need to talk, you need to chat. If you need a laugh, I will tell you to go and visit Brother Eric Soderbergh's page because I'm not the fun girl. Although I'm fun, I cannot do that any justice. But we don't want you to suffer in silence. We thank you all for joining us today. It has truly been a pleasure, even with all of the technical fun we've had today. We thank you for being with us. We thank Dearborn Realtist Board and President Courtney Jones for all of his leadership and for allowing the Realtist Women's Council of Illinois to participate in this way during Realtist Week 2020. It's been, as Les Brown would say, a plum-pleasing pleasure. And are there any closing thoughts that you would like to share, Madam Selena?
I would just like to share, you know, when we look back, when our kids look back, when our grandchildren look back, this is going to be written in the history books. Uh-oh, did we lose anybody? I don't see me anymore. Oh, there it is. This is going to be written in the history book. So we're currently living through history right now. This is historical. And so I would just encourage us, you know, while preparing for, you know, what that looks like, I definitely encourage you to do that. Make sure that we just live in the moment, guys. Take each moment in, you know, every opportunity when you get a chance to just take a deep sigh and not have to go show a property and not have to answer the phone and not have to do something. Enjoy that moment, because it will come a time, you know, life isn't going to end. It may look different, but we'll get to a normal again. And whatever that looks like, the rut of life will begin again, and the cycle will begin again, and the rat race will begin again. So now is a great time to learn something new, to invest in yourself, invest in stocks. You know, there's a ton of apps out there that you can use. Knit a blanket, you know, figure it out. Do something that you haven't done that you've been interested in doing, but take advantage of this time. Without you, there is no us. So I just want to say thank you to all of our membership of the Realtist Women's Council. Thank you for those who tuned in. We appreciate you guys. We absolutely enjoy the opportunity to get in front of you each one of these days during Realtist Week to share tips and information and various aspects of the business. This has been extremely rewarding. It stretched me, right? Because we are learning all of these tools and how to make them all gel together. And so it's requiring us to get out of our comfort zone for sure. Video is definitely not, an area that I have particularly enjoyed, but it is what it is. You got to do it. So just want to say thank you to all of our Realtist Women's Council members, and thank you to our Dearborn Realtist Board members, our steady hand. You guys have been rocking with the Dearborn Realtist Board, many for over 30 years. We thank you for allowing the young folk to come in and lead and learn from you guys. And so we just thank you for going before us and being the shoulders that we get to stand on.
And with all of that, we say have an amazing, productive rest of your Thursday. And we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Hey, everybody. Bye.